Oh, I'm sorry. Just showing y'all how all of y'all are sleeping on these mobile homes. And I'm gonna tell you why. Brothers and sisters, bunions and blisters, I am your boy T Squared, the Renaissance Man, coming to you live with this edition of Mobile Home Misconceptions. So, I am here today to tell you guys, like I said earlier, of how you're sleeping on mobile homes. I get a lot of the messages in the comments of the videos. You guys have a lot of misconceptions. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. It's the way that your mind has been trained to think about mobile homes. Now, I playfully call them mobile homes. That's their slang term. That's their nickname. But if you go to some of these mobile home factories like Clayton and some of the other bigger guys, they might get a little bit squeamish if you use the word mobile home, if you will. The correct term since 1976 is manufactured home. So I use the phrase mobile home because that's the nickname that everyone's commonly used to. That and trailers. But the reason why those two words are attached to it is because of the history of mobile homes. See, back in the day, only rich people could afford trailers and they used to pull them behind on their cars. So how did we get to this point to where we are now, where you have the stigma of as soon as you hear mobile homes, you think about Eminem and 8 Mile and every worst connotation of a mobile home or trailer trash that you could ever think of? Well, the reason why we got here is because in the beginning, I say maybe about the 50s or 60s, there used to be a whole lot more care in regards to the structure of these properties. Well, once upon a time, back when trailers were linked to the affluent people and the people who had money, like I mentioned earlier, it was a status symbol to have a mobile home. So much so that I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball, and Desi Arnaz, they filmed a comedy about buying a trailer for $1,800, and the movie documents hilariously their honeymoon adventures with this thing, where it was actually a movie documenting the life of traveling with a pull-behind trailer. So it became a very popular, affluent thing. Now, in the past, there was regulations on these houses where they couldn't be any wider than 8 feet. So you were kind of confined to a trailer that could only be 8 feet wide, because that was regulation to get it down the road. Time went on, things kind of loosened, and you started getting more into the wider trailers that started getting more into the 10 wide and beyond. So when we started getting in this quest to become bigger and to make the mobile homes bigger or the trailers bigger, then you started running into companies trying to meet their bottom line, trying to just get bigger and try to outbig everybody. Bigger than big. So at that point, you know what happens when companies try to go and try to compete, they cut corners. So next thing you know, the craftsmanship that used to be in those 50 style homes aren't there anymore. When you hit the late 60s, early 1970s, mobile homes started getting a real bad reputation for bad quality and being known as a tin box of crap. So much so that it became so much of a hazard that the government had to step in. So right at about 1976 is when HUD stepped in and said, hey man, y'all are going wild with making these cheap houses and these death traps for people. So there was regulations that were put in place. So as soon as HUD stepped in, kicking in the door, waving the 4-4, we went from mobile homes to manufactured homes. So before HUD regulations, there was no national building code, no federal oversight, and no uniform inspection process. So you know what that means. It was every man for himself. Inmates running the prison, cat chasing the dog, the wild, wild west. Actually, until people actually look at some of the tours that I do on my channel, they don't realize all the modern things that are now stuck in some of these mobile homes. Gone are the days where you had guys with cigarettes on their break stitching together these things on a whim at a lowball company. Now you have major corporations and companies like Clayton Mobile Homes, which is most of the homes that I tour on the channel. You would know that Clayton Homes is part of the Berkshire Hathaway group, the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett. This is all linked to him. Why do you think a billionaire would have himself hitched to mobile home? Because it's a very profitable industry And right now, that might be an industry that's going to help a whole lot of people during this housing crisis, because not everybody can afford a single family home. But there's more people that can figure out how to get these mobile homes and slap them on their own land. What people really don't realize is that these houses are constructed right inside of a climate control factory. And pretty much once they're put together like double wides, they're built and split right down the middle and assembled right there on your lot. So there's two different ways you could do these houses nowadays. You could either be in a mobile home park, which most people associate with trailer parks, or you can have your own plot of land and slap this home on a permanent foundation, and then it becomes a home. One fun tidbit about mobile homes that people don't know: it's pretty much a housing chameleon, so to speak. This is one of the few times where a mobile home can be two different things. When you're in a mobile home park and you don't own the land and you're renting out the land, that home has a title and it's treated just like a vehicle. It has a VIN number and everything. Now, the one thing that makes the mobile homes interesting is that if you take that same mobile home that was in that park and if you put it on a plot of land that you own and have it sitting on a permanent foundation, it's no longer viewed as personal property anymore. It's viewed as an actual house. When you're in Virginia and you got land that's zoned for agriculture that you got approved to be able to have a mobile home on the land, once you get it on a permanent foundation, it actually gets rolled into the deed of the land. First mistake that we make in the modern age about these homes is that we just think, oh, they're just trailers. They're just mobile homes. That's where we're messing up at. And I get it. You guys have that opinion because history has trained us to think of them that way. The American dream is something that when I grew up was the dog in the backyard, the white picket fence, and the wife and the family. But in this modern society, man, you gotta rob Peter, Paul, Jake, and Matthew to be able to achieve some of those dreams now. That's why I kind of push for the mobile home deal for some people, because that's an alternative for affordable living. It gives you options, whether you want to try to find a nice mobile home community and stay there, or whether you want to go ahead and carve out your own piece of land and slap that mobile home there and have your own experience. So I'm just really trying to get you guys to kind of get out of what you think you know about mobile homes and start educating you on what is actually going on with them nowadays. So just open up your mind. Different strokes for different folks. Even with all the modern amenities and everything, a mobile home is still not going to be the solution for someone who really wants a stick-built traditional home. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just know that in this world where we need more affordable housing, this is an option for you, and it has a whole lot of different wrinkles and layers to it. So as always, I know that you guys could have been anywhere in the World Wide Web, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. So I will catch you guys on the next one.